You know what's funny? We spend our entire lives trying to prove our worth to people who don't even deserve a seat at our table. We chase validation, attention, approval, and in that chase, we forget the most powerful project we'll ever work on, ourselves. So today, stop scrolling through their lives. Stop waiting for someone to see your potential. Stop wasting your energy trying to fix others. It's time to focus on you. Because the truth is, when you focus on yourself, you become the kind of person no one can ignore. When you focus on yourself, something magical happens. Your silence becomes louder, your presence becomes undeniable, and your peace, it becomes your power. See, focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. You can't pour from an empty cup. So stop trying to fill others when you're running on empty. You don't need everyone's approval to shine. You don't need to be liked, followed, or understood by everyone. You just need to be unshakably you. Every time you doubt yourself, remind your soul, I've come too far to shrink now. Every time someone underestimates you, smile. Because underestimation is the best fuel for unstoppable people. When you start focusing on yourself, you stop begging for closure, attention, or love. You start attracting peace, purpose, and power. And trust me, that's the most attractive version of you there is. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand. While they gossip, you grow. While they judge, you evolve. While they sleep on you, you build a life they'll wake up to envy. Because when you focus on yourself, you stop being available for every drama, every distraction, every fake connection. You start living for the woman in the mirror. You start realizing that your glow isn't from makeup or compliments, it's from healing, discipline, and confidence. Listen, the world doesn't respect people who beg for attention. It respects people who don't need it. That's what focus does. It makes you magnetic. You don't chase, you attract. And remember, peace isn't found in other people, it's found in purpose. You're not behind. You're not late. You're just in the process of becoming the person you were meant to be. So stay patient, stay kind, stay focused. Because when your time comes, it'll be worth every moment of waiting, every tear, every lonely night you spent rebuilding yourself. Let your success make the noise. Let your peace do the talking. And let your focus be your revenge. Silence speaks power, not because it's quiet, but because it doesn't need to prove anything. You see, in a world where everyone is shouting for attention, the one who remains calm, composed, and confident without uttering a word becomes unforgettable. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's not emptiness, it's energy preserved. When you know who you are, you don't need to argue with anyone who tries to tell you otherwise. You don't need to defend your worth. Your presence does that for you. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room is often the most insecure one? The one who keeps talking, explaining, proving, showing off. They're not powerful, they're performing. True power doesn't perform, it just exists. It's like a lion sitting silently while the hyenas make noise. The lion doesn't roar to prove it's a lion. Its silence already commands respect. That's the kind of power your silence can have. The kind that doesn't seek attention yet draws it effortlessly. When you choose silence, you choose control. You choose peace over reaction. You choose to respond with patience, not impulse. Someone insults you, mocks you, betrays you, and instead of reacting, you smile. That smile says, I've outgrown the need to entertain immaturity. That's power. Silence becomes your shield, your armor, your message. You stop explaining your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop arguing with small minds that cannot comprehend your growth. You let your life, your discipline, your results speak louder than any argument ever could. Look at your daily life. How many times have you lost your peace trying to make someone understand your side of the story? How many nights have you wasted crafting the perfect response to someone who never deserved a reply in the first place? That's emotional exhaustion disguised as communication. Real power is when you no longer feel the need to explain. Because silence says everything words never could. It says I'm at peace with myself. It says I don't owe you my energy. It says I'm too focused on building my future to be distracted by your drama. Imagine a workplace where everyone is competing for credit, talking over one another to be seen. But then, there's you, the quiet one, focused, composed, delivering results. At first they'll underestimate you. They'll think your silence means weakness. But when the results come in, when your consistency outshines their noise, that same silence becomes your signature. They'll start watching you differently. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned through quiet excellence. That's what silence does. It builds a reputation of calm confidence. In relationships too, silence is a test of strength. When someone tries to provoke you, manipulate you, or drain your peace, your silence speaks louder than confrontation. You don't fight for closure, you give it to yourself. You don't chase validation, you create it from within. You don't cry for attention, you shift that energy into self-growth. When you stop reacting, you start rising. Silence becomes your boundary. It says, I no longer argue with chaos, I simply distance myself from it. Think about an artist who works quietly for years. No posts, no announcements, no attention seeking. But when the art is revealed, the world stops and stares. Why? Because silence builds mystery, and mystery builds respect. Your silence is your unseen preparation. Every time you're silent while others are busy showing off, you're growing roots. And when the time comes, your growth will speak louder than any word you could have ever said. Silence is also a teacher. It teaches you who deserves your energy and who doesn't. When you stay silent, you observe more. You start noticing the real from the fake, loyalty from convenience, truth from performance. You begin to understand people's intentions, not by what they say, but by what they don't say. Silence gives you clarity, and clarity gives you control. It's through silence that you find your direction again after life has tried to confuse you. You know why silence is so powerful? Because it makes people uncomfortable. In a world addicted to attention and validation, your calm becomes a disruption. People won't understand it. They'll try to provoke you just to get a reaction because your silence exposes their insecurity. Don't give them what they want. Stay still. Let them wonder why you're so unbothered. Let them question what gives you so much peace. Let your stillness make them restless. There's a reason storms come with thunder, but earthquakes come in silence. Thunder makes noise, but it's temporary. Earthquakes shake the ground, quietly, deeply, permanently. That's how you move when you focus on yourself. No announcements, no validation seeking. Just quiet moves that change everything. So, in your everyday life, remember this. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every comment deserves your explanation. And not every person deserves your access. Let them think you're quiet, let them think you're distant, because one day they'll realize your silence was never weakness, it was wisdom. It was you choosing growth over gossip, peace over pettiness, focus over fear. Be the kind of person who walks into a room and doesn't need to speak to be noticed. Let your energy do the talking. Let your eyes show confidence, your posture show strength, and your silence show class. Because silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of power. It's not about saying nothing, it's about saying I don't need to say anything to prove who I am. And when you master that, you become unstoppable. Self-focus isn't selfish, it's survival. It's the foundation of every strong, peaceful, and powerful person you've ever admired. The world loves to tell you that focusing on yourself means you don't care about others, but that's the biggest lie you'll ever hear. Because the truth is, when you take care of you, everything connected to you flourishes. Your relationships grow healthier, your work becomes stronger, and your purpose becomes clearer. You can't light up the world if your own flame is dying. Most people are drained not because life is hard, but because they keep trying to fill everyone else's cup while theirs is bone dry. They show up for everyone but themselves. They comfort others while their own soul cries silently at night. That's not kindness, that's neglect. Self-focus is not about ignoring others. It's about protecting your energy so you can show up fully when it truly matters. You can't be the healer if you're always bleeding. You can't be the light if you never recharge. Think about it. When you're on a flight, the safety instructions always say, put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because if you can't breathe, you can't save anyone. The same rule applies to life. You can't pour love from an empty heart. You can't give peace if you're constantly in chaos. You can't build others when you're broken inside. Focusing on yourself means giving yourself permission to breathe, to heal, to rebuild before you carry anyone else. In daily life, how many times have you said yes just to please people when your soul was screaming no? How many times have you agreed to help others while your own work, rest, and dreams got pushed aside? That's how burnout is born. Not from doing too much, but from doing too little for yourself. Start setting boundaries that protect your peace, not break it. Because boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They separate what drains you from what grows you. Imagine a mother who gives everything to her family, her time, her energy, her health, but forgets to take care of herself. One day her body gives up, her energy fades, and suddenly the very people she was trying to care for are left lost because she never prioritized herself. Self-focus isn't abandonment of others, it's empowerment for yourselves so you can stand tall for them longer. You're not being selfish when you rest, you're being wise. You're not being cold when you say no, you're being conscious. You're not being distant when you choose solitude. You're being strong enough to hear your own voice again. Look at the people who have mastered their craft. Athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all share one thing: extreme self-focus. They wake up early, train their minds, protect their time, and say no to distractions. Not because they don't care about others, but because they understand one truth: if I don't focus on me, I can't give the best version of me to the world. They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. That's not selfishness, that's self-respect. Even in friendships, sometimes focusing on yourself means stepping away from people who drain you. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. You can't grow when surrounded by people who are comfortable staying small. It's not wrong to outgrow people, it's wrong to shrink just to keep them. Self-focus teaches you to walk away gracefully. Not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring about yourself too. When you start focusing on yourself, people will notice. They'll call you changed, distant, or selfish. Don't let that shake you. You've simply shifted from being a people pleaser to a purpose-driven person. You've realized that saying yes to everyone else was a slow way of saying no to your own peace. Let them misunderstand. Growth is often misunderstood by those who refuse to evolve. Remember, flowers don't apologize for blooming taller than weeds. Think about your phone battery. You don't wait until it dies completely before plugging it in. You recharge it often because you know it won't function well on low energy. But when it comes to your mind, body, and soul, you keep running even when the light is flashing red. Self-focus is your recharge. It's the time you take to fill your cup again, through meditation, through learning, through rest, through saying no without guilt. Because when you're full, your energy overflows naturally. Another everyday example. Imagine you're working tirelessly at your job, giving 110th to everyone around you. You're the go-to person, the fixer, the listener. But over time, you start to feel invisible, exhausted, unappreciated. One day you stop and ask, when was the last time I did something just for me? That's the awakening. The day you realize your worth doesn't depend on how much you give others, but how much you give yourself. When you invest in your mind, your health, your peace, you rise differently. You walk differently. You glow differently. Focusing on yourself also means facing your truth. It means sitting with your pain, your mistakes, your patterns, and saying, I need to do better for me. It's not about blaming others for your past. It's about taking responsibility for your future. When you start working on your inner world, your outer world starts aligning effortlessly. You attract better because you become better. You stop settling because you finally know your value. People often confuse self-focus with selfishness because they fear confident individuals who don't need validation. But understand this, the most compassionate people are the ones who've mastered self-care. They give love without losing themselves. They help others without harming their peace. And they know when to step back and breathe. That's balance. That's emotional intelligence. The truth is, when you stop chasing to be everything for everyone and start focusing on becoming everything for yourself, you transform. You become more centered, more patient, more powerful. You start seeing life through clarity instead of chaos. You stop running after things and start attracting them naturally. Because when you focus on yourself, you don't move out of selfishness. You move out of strength. Energy is precious. It's the unseen currency of your life. The invisible fuel that powers everything you do, think, and feel. Every single day you wake up with a limited amount of it, and where you choose to spend it determines the quality of your life. Yet most people throw their energy away like it's infinite. On drama, overthinking, gossip, comparison, fear, and people who were never meant to stay. They wonder why they feel empty, drained, and uninspired. It's not because life is unfair, it's because they're investing their power in things that don't grow them. Energy is like money. You can spend it recklessly, or you can invest it wisely. The people who master their energy, master their destiny. You can feel it, can't you? The moment you walk into a room and someone's energy feels heavy, it drains you. Or when you spend time with someone who constantly complains, criticizes, or plays the victim, you leave feeling exhausted, not because of what they said, but because they pulled energy from you. That's what energy does. It flows, it's contagious, it transfers, and if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire life giving it away to people who don't even value it. That's why protecting your energy isn't rude. It's responsible. Think about your mornings. How many of them start with your phone in your hand, scrolling through social media, comparing your life to others? You think it's harmless, but that's your energy leaking before the day has even begun. You give your focus, your mood, your peace away to people you don't even know. Then you wonder why your motivation disappears by noon. Energy goes where attention flows. So if you want to protect your energy, you must protect your attention. Imagine starting your day instead with silence, gratitude, or movement. You'd feel centered, calm, powerful, because your energy would belong to you, not the world. In daily life, it's easy to waste energy on arguments that don't matter. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and suddenly your peace is gone for hours. A coworker makes a rude comment, and you replay it all day long. A friend doesn't text back, and your mind spirals into overthinking. That's energy, draining, slipping away through every reaction. The truth is, you don't lose energy because life is tough. You lose it because you react to everything that doesn't deserve a reaction. Learn to pause. Learn to walk away. Learn to keep your power where it belongs, with you. Imagine you're at work, surrounded by negativity. People complaining, gossiping, always focusing on problems instead of solutions. You can either join them or protect your peace. One choice drains you, the other strengthens you. Energy isn't about working harder, it's about aligning smarter. When your mind is full of clutter, your body feels tired. When your thoughts are clean, your spirit feels alive. Protecting your energy means saying no without guilt, taking breaks without apology, and choosing peace over participation in chaos. Think of your phone battery again. When too many apps are running in the background, your battery dies faster. Life is no different. You've got too many tabs open. Worrying about the past, stressing about the future, trying to please everyone, fearing judgment. All those mental tabs drain your energy. Close them. Focus on what's in front of you. Every time you say no to something meaningless, you say yes to your peace. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you recharge. Every time you walk away from drama, you rise higher. Energy also hides in your thoughts. Have you noticed how one negative thought can destroy an entire day? You spill coffee on your shirt and suddenly this day is ruined. You miss a deadline and you start thinking, I'm such a failure. But one positive shift in energy can change your entire mood. The difference between exhaustion and empowerment isn't how much you do, it's how much negativity you carry. Your thoughts are either draining you or fueling you. Choose them wisely because your energy follows your focus. Sometimes, the biggest energy leak comes from people. The constant over-explaining, the forced conversations, the pretending to be okay just to keep peace. That's emotional fatigue disguised as kindness. It's okay to disconnect from people who make you feel smaller. You don't owe everyone your energy just because they demand your attention. You owe yourself protection from anything that costs you peace. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. Be selective, not selfish. You don't see the sun shining everywhere at once. It chooses where to beam its light. So should you. Even your environment affects your energy. Walk into a messy room and your mind feels cluttered. Sit in nature and suddenly you feel calm, creative, alive. The spaces you spend time in are feeding or draining you without you realizing it. Create spaces that restore your peace. Even a quiet corner, a walk outside, or a playlist that uplifts your spirit can refuel your energy. Protecting your space is protecting your strength. And let's talk about conversations. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every argument needs your response. The urge to defend yourself, to prove your point, to always be understood, that's wasted energy. Some people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. Don't drain your power trying to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Let your silence be your filter and your results be your answer. Energy is also tied to emotions. When you live in resentment, jealousy, or regret, your energy stays stuck. But when you live in gratitude, forgiveness, and purpose, your energy expands. Gratitude multiplies your strength. Forgiveness clears your soul. Purpose directs your focus. Every moment you spend holding on to what hurt you is a moment stolen from what could heal you. Let go, not because they deserve peace, but because you deserve energy. Look at children. They laugh, they play, they create without fear. Their energy flows freely because they haven't learned to hold grudges or overthink. That's the secret. The lighter your spirit, the stronger your energy. You regain your power not by doing more, but by carrying less. Less bitterness, less fear, less trying to be perfect. Energy flows best when it's free. So every day before you step out into the world, ask yourself, what am I giving my energy to today? Is it something that builds me or breaks me? Because once your energy is gone, you can't get that moment back. You can earn back money, relationships, opportunities, but not energy. It's the most valuable thing you own. And when you learn to protect it, you'll finally start living from a place of peace, purpose, and unstoppable strength. Peace over popularity. That's the moment you choose yourself even when the world demands you to be someone else. It's when you stop craving applause and start craving alignment. Because popularity fades, but peace stays with you when the lights go out and the world gets quiet. Too many people are exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much for validation. They're chasing likes, attention, and approval from people who wouldn't even notice if they disappeared tomorrow. But peace is different. Peace is when you no longer need the world to agree with who you are. Peace is when you can sit alone and still feel whole. Every time you choose peace over popularity, you take your power back. You stop being a puppet pulled by other people's opinions. You start living by your truth, not their expectations. Think about it. How many times have you changed yourself just to fit in? How many times have you laughed when you weren't amused, agreed when you didn't believe, or stayed silent when your soul wanted to speak? That's the price of popularity, pretending. You wear masks so long that you forget who you are underneath. But peace demands authenticity. It whispers, you don't have to impress anyone. Just be real. And when you choose that, when you choose to live unapologetically, your life starts to feel lighter. Imagine you're in school or at work, surrounded by people who always need attention. They're loud, they gossip, they crave validation, they get noticed, sure, but they're also restless, because popularity is a trap. It gives you attention, but steals your peace. While everyone's trying to be seen, the wise ones are mastering the art of being still. You don't need to shine louder than others, you just need to shine true. The calmest person in the room always holds the most power. People are drawn not to noise, but to peace. Let's say you're building your dream. Maybe it's your career, your art, or your business. There will come a time when the world tempts you to compromise, to do what's trending instead of what's true. The crowd will cheer for the easy route. But remember, crowds are fickle. They love you today and forget you tomorrow. Peace, on the other hand, is your forever companion. When you choose what feels right over what looks right, you might lose the crowd, but you'll gain yourself. And that's a trade worth making every single time. In daily life, you'll see it everywhere. People exhausting themselves to please others. They post for validation, dress for approval, speak to impress. But at night, when it's just them and their thoughts, there's no peace. Because you can't fake fulfillment. Peace doesn't come from how many people like you. It comes from how much you like yourself. When you live for popularity, you hand the keys of your happiness to strangers. When you live for peace, you hold those keys in your own hands. Look at social media. It's a mirror of modern insecurity. People curate perfection just to be accepted, forgetting that peace isn't found in filters. It's found in freedom. Freedom to be flawed. Freedom to be human. Freedom to not have to perform for love. When you stop chasing likes and start chasing purpose, you begin to glow differently. There's a power in being unbothered, in not needing to be seen to know your worth. Because real confidence doesn't scream. It radiates silently. In relationships, choosing peace over popularity can look like walking away from what looks perfect to others, but feels painful to you. Maybe the world thinks your relationship is #goals, but deep down you know it's toxic. The moment you choose your mental peace over the image of a perfect relationship, that's when you start healing. You're not losing love, you're reclaiming yourself. Sometimes peace costs people, but it's a price worth paying. Even at work, you'll face moments where speaking your truth might make you unpopular. Maybe you're the only one standing up for what's right. It's not easy, but peace will never ask you to betray your integrity. You can't sleep peacefully when your soul knows you've been silent in the face of wrong, so speak your truth even if your voice shakes. You might lose some fake friends, but you'll gain respect, the kind that doesn't fade with time. In friendships too, popularity is seductive. Everyone wants to be included, invited, noticed. But peace comes when you realize that being included doesn't always mean being valued. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unseen. You can have hundreds of contacts and still have no connection. Peace is when you stop chasing company and start cherishing solitude. You realize that being alone is not loneliness. It's clarity. And in that clarity you find power. Think about celebrities or influencers who have everything the world chases: fame, attention, luxury. Yet many confess they're unhappy. Why? Because external validation can never fill an internal void. Popularity gives you an audience, peace gives you a purpose. You can stand on a stage filled with thousands and still feel empty if you don't have peace within, but you can sit quietly in your room and feel whole if your heart is calm. That's why peace is the real luxury, the one money, fame, and followers can't buy. Even in your personal growth, peace will often demand you to walk alone. You'll have to step away from people who love your comfort zone but hate your evolution. You'll have to let go of approval from those who don't understand your calling. The road to peace is quieter, lonelier, but it's real. And one day, when you're grounded, stable, and calm, you'll look back and realize the people you lost weren't losses at all. They were lessons in self-respect. Peace over popularity means waking up and not needing to impress anyone. Not your friends, not your boss, not the world. It means walking through life without performing. You don't chase applause, you chase alignment. You don't follow trends, you follow truth. You don't compete, you create. And the more peace you choose, the more powerful you become. Because in the end, popularity might make you visible, but peace makes you valuable. At the end of the day, the only person you truly spend your entire life with is yourself. So tell me, why waste years trying to be liked by people who don't even like themselves? Why chase approval from a crowd that doesn't even know where they're going? Life isn't about fitting in, it's about standing out. It's not about being seen. It's about being Ifelta. And when you focus on yourself, when you build your peace, protect your energy, and choose purpose over popularity, something magical happens. The world starts to recognize your worth, not because you begged for it, but because you became it. You see, the quietest people often carry the loudest power. The ones who walk away with grace, not revenge. The ones who don't explain, they dialveti. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing validation and start creating vibration. You stop trying to impress and start trying to express. And that's where real transformation begins. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that grows you. Every time you choose peace over drama, you reclaim your throne. Because peace isn't found in applause, it's found in alignment. It's not who claps for you that matters, it's who stands silently beside you when the noise fades. Let me tell you this, growth is not loud. Success doesn't scream. Power doesn't announce itself. The most powerful people you'll ever meet are the ones who learn to be still, focused, and unshakable. They don't prove their worth, they live it. They don't compete, they are creati. They don't follow trends, they asceta them. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. You don't owe the world your exhaustion, your silence, or your compromise. You owe yourself peace, purpose, and pride. So don't let anyone guilt you into shrinking to make them comfortable. You weren't born to fit in someone's small version of you. You were born to expand beyond their imagination. When you stop chasing the noise, you'll start hearing your intuition. When you stop running after attention, you'll start attracting respect. And when you stop begging for love, you'll start becoming love itself. That's the real glow up. The kind no makeup, no fame, and no spotlight can give you. It's the kind that radiates from the inside out. So promise yourself this, you'll focus on your growth even if nobody claps for you. You'll choose your peace even if it costs your popularity. You'll protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. And you'll never again apologize for shining too bright for people who prefer the dark. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, not applause. Stars shine brightest when the night is darkest. And strong women, strong souls, they rise not because someone gave them permission, but because they refuse to stay buried. So focus on yourself. Build your empire in silence. Let your success make the noise. Let your peace confuse them, your discipline shock them, and your glow remind them that you're unstoppable. Because the most powerful statement you'll ever make is your presence after they thought you'd broken. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to become who you're meant to be. Stop doubting, stop waiting, stop apologizing. Start becoming. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the real you, the bold you, the focused you, the healed you. So walk like you already know where you're going. Speak like you already own the room. Love yourself so deeply that losing people doesn't shake your foundation anymore. Because the moment you start focusing on yourself, everything else will fall into place. You are your own rescue. You are your own power. You are your own home. And when you realize that, no rejection can break you, no failure can define you, and no noise can distract you. Because your silence, your focus, your peace will always speak louder than anything the world could ever say.